Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. We're smiling. It's Thursday. It's snowing, and it's smart business moves.
Yay! Yay! Lots of stuff going on today. Oh, sorry about my phone there.
Never a dull minute.
No, but it's not impacting the snow is not impacting my anything, actually. It's not,
You're inside.
I'm inside, yeah. But sometimes it makes my internet go wonky when we have
do you have like teams cleaning today?
Yeah.
Okay, so people showed up to work.
They came to work today. There was no snow this morning. So it started snowing about 7:30.
Okay.
We start work at 7:30. So, hey, Craig. So yeah, they're coming home though. They're all on their way. It's 2:00. Everybody's on their way back to the office. Not everybody. There's one team out there who's got 4-wheel drive. They're like, we're doing it. We're fine. Go ahead, enjoy yourselves. You're my favorite.
So it's snowing right now?
Oh yeah.
What's it look like?
I will show you, Tom. Let's see.
Wow, that looks like a postcard.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. Yeah, super nice.
Doesn't look like you got a whole lot on the ground.
Yeah, there is. What you're seeing there is where you can see it coming through. That's actually a driveway. And the driveway not a driveway, a railroad tie that's like covering or on the edge of the driveway. So everything's full. It's almost to the top of the railroad tie.
But you're supposed to be getting like over a foot, right?
Yeah, 14 inches is what they're saying now. So we'll see.
Craig's asking a question. What in the world does this have to do with KPIs? Maybe that's...
We are doing KPIs today, Craig.
We could probably come up with, some type of equation. The amount of homes you clean is inversely proportional to the amount of snow that's on the ground, and you've got 14 inches coming. So I don't need a spreadsheet to predict that you won't be cleaning many homes tomorrow.
You really don't. Craig, if you don't come here often, we should give you the heads up. You probably don't want to show up much before 10 after.
Don't be quiet.
It's true. We don't really ever get to work before then. See? I think he's been here before, Tom. All right. I shamed Tom into getting started fast today.
Let's get to work. So, this is all about KPIs for profit, and make the green numbers go up and the red numbers go down. You're going to be more profitable. We've been focusing on loaded direct payroll to revenue because there's a long list of things that you can do within your business to drive that number down. And if you drive that number down, you're going to be more profitable. And you don't have to do all of them. Just go down the long list and pick the ones that you look like you feel like are the low-hanging fruit. And that's kind of the cool thing about it.
I love that because you don't have to do all of them. You can do the ones you want to do. That's good enough. Start there. Start with the ones that are easy, that you like to do, that you can push off to somebody else. That's my favorite, right? Which ones can you easily get someone else to do? Those are my favorite. Do those first.
It's kind of like the New Year's resolution or Lent or something like that. You want to pick something that's kind of easy to deal with. You don't want to make it too hard.
Yeah. Don't cut out sugar for the year.
Yeah.
I guess we were just talking about Lent, so it's not as long, luckily. So Facebook user, only 14 inches. Is that you, Robin? Sometimes you show up as just a little head there. And isn't Robin in Canada?
Robin?
Yeah.
No, he's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay. Well, never mind.
Somewhere in Pennsylvania.
But they get a lot of snow over there too. So, yeah, it probably didn't seem like a big deal. Places that get snow all the time, y'all are more used to it. They've been sending out weather warnings. Hey, Robin. They've been sending weather warnings out here since Monday. I know the banks are all closed tomorrow. The post office is closed. The library is closed. Everything's closed tomorrow. And that was set yesterday, I think. So it's kind of funny. All right. Back to KPI. Sorry, Craig.
For you guys who are in a Facebook group, if you go to this link, streamyard.com/Facebook, and give it permission to share your identity, you'll show up in the live stream as something other than Facebook user. You'll show up as you, which is cool. You want to do that.
I've done it before.
It's just a extra little step.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were all over productivity, and we were talking about how productivity will, increasing our productivity is an excellent way to grow your direct payroll to revenue, and it's a way of creating more value for all your stakeholders. Your cleaning professionals will have an opportunity to make more money, or more money per hour anyway, get a better return off of their investment of time. Your business has an opportunity to be more profitable. And arguably, if you're working on training and methods and focusing on productivity, you'll be doing that with a mind towards quality and meeting a scope of work. So your clients are going to be getting better service as well. And just to kind of tie it all in, because I know it comes up, it's like, well, if I'm paying hourly, certainly if I can clean a home faster, I'm making more money. But if I'm doing some type of incentive pay like commission, the pay is the same, isn't it? And yeah, technically it is. But if you are able to consistently achieve higher levels of productivity, say that you were doing 700 square feet an hour and you're able to get it up to 1,000 square feet an hour, then a house that used to take you, 4.25 hours or a little bit more, you could do in 3 hours. Then if you're paying 35%, you would, on a $200 house, if that's what you were charging, the pay would be the same, $70 for both. But look how much more they're making per hour at the 1,000 square foot as opposed to 700. And moving forward, when you're hiring people and training them using this better method, you can start them out at a lower commission, say something even as low as 30, but they're making $20 an hour as opposed to 16. So that is what I would call a win-win. And those are the ones that we're looking for, because really there is no such thing as a win-lose in this game. It's either a win-win or a lose-lose.
Which is awesome.
Am I explaining that in an adequate way?
I believe so. Anybody feel like they want to talk about this a little bit more? We talked quite a bit yesterday. We went back and forth sort of around hourly and commission and how to get the different types of teams to be productive, and solos versus teams. One thing we did not talk about yesterday that I was shocked didn't come up was the size of a team. So I thought for sure we would hear something about, if I send 3 people into a house, they take the same amount of time as if I send 2 people into a house. I've heard a lot of people say that over the years. And I've also heard a lot of people say putting 1 person in a house means they can get done faster, fewer labor hours than any other team size, even teams of 2. So I was kind of surprised we didn't hear anything about that yesterday.
So why is that, Liz? Why do you think that's the case? Why do you hear that so much? Because it's true, right? I mean, in a lot of cases it's true.
No, it is true. You really have to manage that time, because there is a lot of stuff. So I can just give you one really quick example that would explain it, I think, really well. So if you have 4 people, for example, on a team, there are 4 people walking into the house. So that's walking into the house once, walking into the house twice, walking into the house 3 times, walking into the house 4 times. Let's say that was only 1 minute. You literally just spent 4 minutes walking into the house. Where if it was 1 person, one person would be walking into the house 1 time, and it would have only cost 1 minute of the total clean time. So your walking time is a really big contributor to the size of your teams. The team members can't move around very much. They have to go to an area and then clean that area and then leave. Another person would have to go to an area, clean that area, and leave. Y'all know that if you have teams that are like even a team of 2, if you have one person going upstairs and one person coming downstairs, who wants them to not take all of their equipment with them upstairs? Nobody wants that, because if they don't take everything, the second they walk back down those stairs, pick up whatever that is that they need and take it back upstairs, you just lost money. So the more people you have, the more opportunity for wasted movement in the house. That's one of the big first reasons. And if they're not coordinated and not organized, there's going to be a lot of that. Also, you have to have enough equipment. If you don't have enough equipment for your teams where they have to come and borrow from each other, same problem, right? If you have a 4,000 square foot house and one team has the cobwebber, the one cobwebber, and the other team needs it, they gotta walk over there, get that cobwebber and bring it back. Even if they don't take it back to the other team, they still had to go get it. Same thing with all the other stuff that you use. Those are the basics.
There's an old saying that a group of people does not make a team.
Oh yeah, true.
And it's easy when you're using solos, the idea of how are we going to workload this? How are we going to divvy up the work in a way where everybody's being most productive for the entire time? When you're a solo, I mean, there's still a lot of tricks to being productive in terms of, reducing steps and using the right cleaning products and all that. But at least there's no question in terms of, well, who's going to do what work? The solo is going to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
You do 2 people, then, there's, you're going to split it up half and half. You do 3, then it starts getting a lot more complicated when you add a third person. And if you normally have a cleaning procedure based on a set team size, regardless of being, 1 person, 2 people, whatever, you add an extra person. And if you're not trained to be productive with that extra person, that person's time is going to, I don't say completely be wasted, but a lot of it will be. And that's kind of where you hear this thing, add 2 people can clean a home in 3 hours, add a third person, and it might not take them 3, but it's going to take them longer than 2. And that's because of that lost productivity, because they're not used to working in that team. And the other part of having more people on a team, that gets into efficiency. Remember, productivity is the allowed time divided by the actual time. Basically, how fast are you actually cleaning the home when you're on a job cleaning a home, where the efficiency is taking into account your drive time. And every time you add people to a team, then the presumption is you're going to be cleaning homes faster, so you're going to have to clean more homes in a day. If a cleaning professional by themselves can clean 2 homes a day, then 2 cleaning professionals should be able to clean 4 homes. 3 should be able to clean 6. Every time you add extra homes, that's more windshield time. That's more drive time. Your efficiency is going down, all things being equal.
So you have to be extremely, extremely tight in your scheduling if you're having large teams. So I have cleaned with some large teams. I've even cleaned some big houses where we've had 2 teams of 5 clean before. And you really have to have a tight space that they're cleaning. I mean, if you have a team of 5 out cleaning 10 houses, even if it's all in the same neighborhood, by the time you load up, move, load again, if you've got more than 3 minutes, right, that's still a half hour of windshield time. So they got to be tight. You can't just throw jobs on the schedule, not even close. So it's tight to have bigger teams. There's a lot more intention that needs to go into everything having to do with the cleaning once you have more than one person, even two people, right? Yeah.
So I think that pretty much, gets us through the idea of productivity and what that's about and why that is important and how that affects the payroll to revenue.
Okay, so now I do want to point out to you guys a reminder that while we're going through this, we don't want to just talk about the why and the what. We want to talk about, the why and the how. We want to talk about what. What is it that you can do and what can you take out of our productivity discussion that we've had? It's been at least a day, if not 2 days, Tom, that we've been talking about productivity.
Yes.
What can you do? What can you change in your company to be more productive? We've given you a lot of ideas, a lot of suggestions. We've told you why you really need to be more productive. Now, what are you going to do? How are you going to go about doing that? What kind of changes can you make in your company? If you want to be more productive. I'm assuming after listening to us drone on and on for 2 days about the importance of productivity.
No.
Hey, I'll do something. Just leave me alone.
Okay, well, we're double dipping on productivity because you get a double bang for that. If you remember, if you increase productivity, you're lowering your loaded direct payroll, so that makes the top number go down, but it can also make the bottom number go up. And I kind of showed you that here on this spreadsheet. So, you win on both sides of the equation. But if I'll go back here, we've got some pretty good tips on training, the tools and equipment, the right pay plan. A lot of it's just communicating and measuring outcomes and sharing outcomes, setting expectations, creating accountability. It doesn't happen by itself. You have to act like you care about it every day.
Has to be intentional. You have to be doing it as a plan, right? So it needs to be a smart business move, not just something that happens to you. You don't want to just get luckily profitable, because then you can get unluckily unprofitable. Right?
Yeah. If you're not making it happen, if you're not making it happen, you're profitable. It's just an accident, and there's no guarantee that it's going to stay that way forever.
Yep.
Sometime, sooner or later, our luck runs out.
All righty.
So, and you know what? We're going to finish payroll to revenue today.
Ooh, all right. Gosh, one.
Is that crazy?
Completed. Yeah. Well, I really think that this amount of time that we spent on here was really, really, really well spent, because like we've said ad nauseum, this one number is the single most important number. If you can control this number above all other numbers, even if you didn't ever look at another number, if you control this number, you're going to be okay.
Well, you've heard me say it, Liz. I love all my KPIs, but some more so than others, and this is my favorite.
This is the best. This one's the best, y'all. So
another thing that you can do to charge more per hour is to do a market analysis. And there's a whole long technique on this. We've got presentations on this, and we don't have enough time to really get in the weeds on all of this. But the long and the short of it is you need to know what your competitors are offering from a scope of work and how that compares to the scope of work that you offer, the type of service that you offer, and what they're charging for it. And you need to make sure that your prices are in alignment with what the market is currently bearing for that, what your competitors are currently charging for comparable services. You don't want to be the low-cost provider.
I'm going to pop a market analysis or competitive analysis workbook in the comments for you, Tom, and you can post it. Hey, Leslie, good to see ya.
Hey, is
Uh,
Leslie getting snow today?
Say it again.
Is Leslie getting snow today? Is it going that far south?
That's pretty south. I don't think they get snow down there. Could be, but I could be wrong, but I don't think so. You guys don't get snow, do you, Leslie?
They get it in Portland, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But you remember Portland's only, 2 hours from me, as little as an hour and a half if there's nobody else on the road, and then it can be, up to 3 hours away. So it's really not that far.
Okay.
I'm trying to find you here, Tom. There you are. Okay. Let's see if I can just move it like this and drop it in here for you. Maybe not.
I'm waiting. So while I'm waiting for that, I mean, the general point is you want to make sure that you know that you aren't selling your service for less than what you could be. And, there's an argument out there. It's like, do you really want to, are you charging a fair price or are you charging all the market can bear? That was kind of a J.C. Penney thing back in the day when, one of his golden rules, if you're familiar with some of his business philosophies. But I would argue that you got a responsibility to all your stakeholders to be charging what the market will allow you to charge for the level of service that you're providing. Your employees are counting on you to do that, and really, you're doing a disservice to your customers if you're charging less than what the market would bear, because you aren't going to be able to create the type of jobs and provide the type of service that they would expect you to be providing. It's really a virtuous circle.
And I mean, I gotta say it because it's a big thing, is you're doing a disservice to our industry too. We all need to be charging somewhat in line with what the market will bear. I mean, of course, I'm not talking about price fixing here, y'all. So anybody that might be hearing me wrong, that's not what I'm talking about. But I am saying that you need to, oh yeah, yep, that's it. You can
hold that, but this is a PDF, so I can put this. I can put this in the resources of Cleaning Business Today as a download. I'll do that.
Okay, that'll work. All right. I forgot what I was saying. I got distracted.
You're doing a disservice that to the industry.
Oh, and I was saying that I'm not talking about price fixing. There will always be the people that are going to charge, $10 an hour. And there's always going to be the company, there's going to be the lowest charging company, and there's going to be the highest charging company. So I would prefer that if you're a professional cleaning company, that you be up on the high side, right? That personal preference here. I would prefer that your company be making more money, have higher net profit, be able to pay more money, be able to give better training, and to be raising up our industry as a whole. All right, that's my big speech right there.
I'm all about that. And truly, I mean, we have an obligation to the industry. Truly, it's not true. It's not all benevolence either. I mean, it comes back to you. It comes back to us. The better we take care of our industry, the better our industry takes care of us.
Absolutely. So, should we do a shameless plug for ARCSI right here?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
No, you do it. You're always so impassioned. I like it.
I do. I kind of well, I'm not in a I'm not in the right frame of mind at the moment.
Okay, you can do it
relaxed approach, but if you're not a member of ARCSI, you really need to take a hard look at it. It's arcsi.org. It's the Industry Trade Association. And just by being a member of this association, you're making a statement about your commitment to professionalism in the industry, and you'll learn some stuff. You get to meet some pretty cool people, And these guys are working hard for us to professionalize the industry, which is in all of our best interest.
Absolutely. The majority of my, I guess, online friends, vast majority, I met through Artsy. The people that I trust the most in our industry, I can't think of one that I didn't meet through Artsy in some way, shape, or form. But I'm sure there are some that I met some other way or through friends of friends. But the ones that popped in my head right off the bat, I met through Artsy.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that if it wasn't for RXC, we wouldn't be here doing this right now.
Oh, no, absolutely not. We would not. Yeah. Some businesses can charge less because they have different cost structures, individual, small companies working. Absolutely. Some companies will call themselves companies, maybe, that don't pay any kind of, don't have any overhead, don't pay any taxes, don't do whatever it is. And maybe they clean by themselves.
But if you're one of those companies that can charge less, I would argue you still have an obligation to charge what the market can bear and just be profitable. I mean, if you're able to charge less, the odds are that you aren't able to do large volumes of work, because the larger companies that have the ability to clean, a much larger number of homes might have smaller margins. I mean, some of the most profitable companies are the ones who have some of the smallest margins, but they just do crazy amounts of income. But if you're a smaller company and you've got relatively no income, still charge what the market can bear. If nothing else, you deserve it. You're earning it. It's not about what your cost is. It's about the value you're providing.
And I think a lot of times people forget when they're by smaller companies and they're by themselves and they're charging less money, they're thinking, wow, I'm still making more than I would make at a job. But are you really? By the time you factor in all of the other expenses and all of the other benefits that you're not getting from a job, are you really? My experience has been that no, you're not, because you're going to have to be putting all your money into wherever, Social Security, where are any of your benefits? You're paying all of this extra money for supplies that you wouldn't pay at a job. There's just, you need to be charging more. For you, not even just for me, not even just for the industry, for you. Otherwise, why not have a job? Why? Why put yourself through all this? Why take the risk? Because there's a lot of risk.
Yeah. And the risk, you don't see the risk every day. On a good day, it's not an issue. But, people get hurt, things get broken, things get stolen, people get sued. You run into situations where you've got natural disasters that, you have pandemics. I mean, you never know when an unprecedented event might be around the corner.
Huh. We know multiple people, Tom, also that were solo cleaners. They were cleaning independents. They were cleaning on their own, that got injured, hurt their back, got sick. I can think of one woman that got cancer. What do you do then? If you haven't been making enough money to be able to put some money into health care and into savings, what do you do? So you really need to be thinking about how you're going to manage yourself. 100%. Yep. Preach, Leslie. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Enhanced sales process. Now, certainly the more you sell, the more revenue you're generating, but that may or may not really mean anything about charging more per hour. But if you're looking at revenue per hour as a metric and something that's important in your sales process, there's things that you can do within your sales process to get more revenue out of each customer you get, each home you do, each hour you spend in the home.
So many things. So I'm just wondering how Tom is going to try and keep this small. That's what I'm wondering. So who here hasn't read like 10 sales books? So let's see how Tom's going to keep this little.
And this kind of gets back into your pricing too. And, at the end of the day, when you're pricing a job, right, at the highest level, the idea is to figure out how much labor am I going to have at home? How many labor hours am I going to have? And that implies what my labor cost is going to be, which sounds an awful lot like my loaded direct payroll to revenue, right?
Yeah.
And once you figure out what your hours is going to be, you have some type of hourly rate that you apply to that. Now, is it always the same hourly rate? Should it be? Does it have to be? Or maybe it should be a different hourly rate based on certain circumstances.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what about cleaning on Saturdays versus cleaning on Tuesdays?
Well,
I mean,
so
I can make an argument for that.
Hi, I've been calling around all day looking for a cleaning company. My mother-in-law is coming into town tomorrow morning, and I desperately need my home cleaned today.
If you want your house cleaned tomorrow morning and it's snowing here and it's 2:30 in the afternoon right here, your price just went up.
Yeah.
Yep. And because it's snowing, your price might have gone up a lot.
I think a lot of times we're really too quick to say, no, we can't do it. My thinking on this is always let your client or your prospect say no.
That's nice. I don't think I've heard you say this, Tom. I like it.
I've said it.
Yeah, I believe you. I just, I don't pay attention to everything you say, Tom.
See, like you, I'll ask you a question about, we really need to do something. And you say, I've been doing this for 10 years. And it's like, oh, crap. It's like,
That happens.
We do all these workshops and foundations, all this other stuff, and we never really pay attention.
Oh my gosh. How many times have we said that too, right?
Okay. Yeah. If somebody wants to get their home cleaned tomorrow morning, don't say, well, no, my schedule's full. Because and I know both that you got a customer on the schedule for tomorrow that will move their cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to offer them a deal and say, I'll throw in an oven cleaning, or I'll deep clean something, or who knows what you need to offer them, because things happen anyway, right? People get sick and you have to roll jobs, stuff like that. So, I mean, it isn't like it never happens anyway. And
I'm gonna have to tell you though, Tom, I know at least a couple of companies that this is sort of their USP, is that they don't ever move a job, ever, 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 for any reason.
No, that's fine. You can do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be as profitable as you could be.
Well, you could be, but I mean, that one thing isn't going to decide or not.
If you can develop a culture where your customers, as a rule, will be more flexible in consideration for things that add value to them, you can create more value for them. But if there's the aggregate value being created is greater than the additional value you're creating for them, they both win.
Absolutely.
For instance, if you can get an extra $100 for that morning slot with this person who desperately wants their home cleaned, you can go back and say, hey, I'll give you $50 off your next cleaning if we can move you to Monday. And, some customers might say no BS to that, but a lot of them for $50 would.
And that could be a question. It's not something that you have to do. You don't have to push them. We call that bumping, Tom. We bump them off the schedule. You don't have to bump them off the schedule. You can ask them if they would like to earn an additional $50. If they would like to have $50 taken off their price, or if they would like to get a deep clean done on blah, blah, blah. You can ask, because some people would love that.
if that person wants that emergency service, and if you can get a big enough premium for them, you've got enough money where you can come up with a solution where everybody's happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And normally that's not part of the thinking.
We see people resisting this more than we see people getting on board with this idea. This getting stuck in a narrow mindset of, yeah, but I don't know how to do that. We can't do that. We just don't do that. But could you? Maybe you could. Why not? Why can't you?
A lot of us think about, well, gee, we need to discount our service for high frequency, recurring revenue. Somebody wants to be a weekly, I got to give them a deal. And you can present it as a deal, but actually what you want to do is charge premium for low frequency recurring. And it looks the same, right? Well, the bi-weekly, the every other week is a lot cheaper than the every 4 weeks. So it's a better deal. It's a better, it's a bargain. It's a better value. Don't take, the hourly rate you're shooting for and tie it to an every 4 week and then discount off of it. Take it and put it on the every other week, or maybe the every week, and then add to it.
Add money.
Yeah.
Yep. So people are missing out on that discount, right? So they're losing money by going to a lower frequency. So this is no different here, no different, you guys, than like the question that you always get asked, right? You had a half a glass of water, is it half full or is it half empty? Well, obviously it's both, but which one do you want to talk about? Let's talk about it being half full. Why do we want to talk about it being half empty? How does that help us, right? So it's the same idea here. Yeah, call that a yes mindset. Try to say yes. Yeah, I like that. So go ahead, Tom.
And keep in mind here, all of this is about getting more per hour for your service. And I think that gets lost a lot of times. We're just busy dealing with the whirlwind and, hey, I just sold a job. Great. Do we even stop and ask, well, what did we get for it? And what's that going to equate to in terms of revenue per hour? And did we miss an opportunity maybe to get a little bit more for that? And if we look at every job that we sell through that lens, through that thought process, we can learn to find ways to get a higher bill rate and still create in the mind of your prospects and your customers that they're getting great value.
Absolutely. I love that.
Leslie was talking the other day about, how she gets a premium for her service. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure she differentiates her service because all things being equal, it's like you clean homes. Yeah, I clean homes. Well, what you're going to charge. And if you just, blurt out a number and, that prospect says thanks and, goes somewhere else and asks the same question, then, you're selling commodity at that point. They're gonna go for the lowest price, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to get more per hour, you need to be able to explain the value you bring. What do we do? What, from a service standpoint, and the service and the value you add is much broader than what you clean. Mm. The dirt you remove.
Such a good point, Tom. It should be. If what you're talking about is just what you clean, you're missing such a huge opportunity because what you bring is so much more than that. And depending on your market too, and depending on what the other companies in your area bring to the table, right? And it can be just so many different things based on what the people in your area want, what you hear them complain about, what the other companies do or don't do. Any of those things can bring value to your company.
A lot of it comes down to trust. and the fear that can be created by engaging a cleaning service. It's like, dear God, I'm getting ready to give these people a key to my house. I'm getting ready to let some strangers in the most intimate parts of my home on a regular basis. I'll pay a premium if I can have something to hold on to that makes me feel confident and comfortable that I can trust these people. That's more important than the dirt you remove. I mean, you got to do a good job of cleaning and provide quality service. Quality service is so much broader than just removing dirt.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Tom, what are some of the ways that people can begin to build that trust or show that trust or give people a feeling of faith and trust? Is there anything other than reviews? I mean, I know that everybody thinks about reviews when they're thinking about trust. What are some other things they can do?
Reviews are a good place to start. A lot of it's, telling the story of your company, how long have you been in business? How long have, customers, how long, have customers been doing business with you? Their experiences. Talk about, your hiring process, your training process, the background checks, the drug testing, just all of the reasons to believe and the proof points that you are a professional organization and you care, and you're there in the community, and if there's an issue, it's a problem. You've been doing it for X number of years, and your service that you can trust.
Know your trade. Know what surfaces are in a home that you're cleaning. Know what the different parts of a vacuum cleaner are really called. Know what the different products are. Understand the trade so that you can speak intelligently on it. Also, if you are communicating about our trade in writing, spell things correctly. The things that have to do with our trade. Spell vacuum the right way. Spell all of the different things that we do that we should know about the right way. Those things also lend trust to what you are saying. They give people the idea that you really are who you say you are and that you really know your stuff.
Yeah. When Liz is saying you need to be thinking broader than just you as an individual. The people in your office need to be able to speak to these points. Your cleaning professionals need to be able to speak to these points, because that's really where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
You want to build trust when your cleaning professionals are in a home and they're able to talk to, the resident, talk to your client, and explain these are the parts of a vacuum cleaner, and this is the type of surfaces, it has an alkaline base, and we've got to make sure that we don't use an acid on it, because we do that, it will etch the surface. And, this is how we, can, sanitize the surface, because we remove the soil and put the disinfectant on it, and we need to let it set for 10 minutes, dwell before we remove it, because that's the only way you can get an adequate, kill rate. All of that is just, holy cow, these people know more about cleaning than I even knew that existed. And that's built trust.
Do I even need to know all that stuff? Yeah, I'm never going to ask anything about cleaning again, because I don't want to hear that much about cleaning, right? You want people to think that. Yeah.
And you know what? When they're talking to their neighbor, they're going to be telling that story.
That's what they're going to talk about. Yeah.
So and I'm going to go back to the PHC program again, and that type of training. And it's not prescriptive, but it's helping people understand, the science and the reasons why behind we do what we do. And it's like, well, I can clean homes without that. Well, to some level, yeah, maybe, but that's how that level of understanding is how not only you get better outcomes, you can be more productive, and you're going to have, less bad outcomes, but you're also differentiating yourself in a marketplace. And the differentiation isn't about getting the certificate, although that's part of it. The bigger part of it is how people interact and behave and communicate every day once they have that level of understanding.
It's a combination of the expertise and the confidence that is imbued in you because you have this expertise and this knowledge and this information. Yeah, Leslie says it's her area of expertise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You learn that stuff and it goes a long way. I always have my UV light and protein pen to show how we check our work. I love that.
Love it. Love it.
I love that too. That's super cool.
Another way that we can reduce our loaded direct payroll to revenue is reduce the scope of work. If a customer is going to pay you $150 to clean their home, and if that's all they can afford, okay, well, maybe you can't get any more money out of them, but maybe you can reduce the amount of time that you have to spend in their home, right?
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you're getting to the same point, same place.
Yep. There's lots of different ways to reduce the scope of work. I think that a lot of times when people think of reducing the scope of work, the only thing that they can think of is don't clean a room. All right, so how about we don't clean this room or we don't clean that room? There are lots of other ways to reduce the scope of work. So you can reduce the level of cleaning. So instead of doing a full scrub and removing every single thing on an area, you can clean to a lighter degree. That's one very, very common way of doing it. Another way of reducing the scope of work is to, I had it and I lost it. I had a really good one. Is to not do all of the things within a room. So for example, you have a room that is lightly used, but somebody wants it cleaned. Instead of doing your normal service of lifting all the rugs, taking them outside, shaking them with your big rugs, vacuuming them, lift up the corners, vacuum underneath and mop. Instead of doing all that, maybe you just vacuum. Maybe you just vacuum around things. So rotational cleaning, sometimes deep, sometimes light. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other ways that you guys can think? Oh, absolutely. Different things that you do. Baseboards, doors and cabinets. Right? Yep. Cobwebs, right? Lots of things that people can opt out of if they want to.
And maybe you don't do them every time. And if you do them, even like baseboards, am I dusting them? Am I washing them? And this gets, into the reducing the level. There's so many different things that you can do when you're in a discussion with a client to get work out. And, a lot of times we do things that add to the amount of time and add to our cost to clean a home that your customers might not see any value in.
They don't care about at all. There are a lot of things that we do. A lot of things. And really, you're not cleaning everything in a home right now. Even if you feel like we are the highest quality, we do everything, unless you're charging, I don't know, I want to say, we have a house that we do almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. 1,500 square feet. We charge $279, I think, every week. We do a lot in that house. We do a real lot in that house. We move all the clothes off of her rods, and we clean the rods, and we put all the clothes back on. We take the caps off of the laundry detergent, and we clean the threads, and we clean the cap, and we put that back on. So we do a lot in that house, and we don't do everything there. So chances are good you're not doing everything already. You're doing the things that you believe most people want, most people care about. But I promise you, there are some things that you're doing that people don't care about. Like me, this sounds bad. I'm going to say this publicly. I don't care about dust. You come into my house and you clean my house. My people all know this too. If you don't dust, I don't care. I won't even notice until it's like that thick. Then I'm going to be like, hey, where'd this sheet of dust come from? What's up with that? But usually don't care about dust.
You don't care about dust.
I don't care about dust at all. But one mark in my sink, one mark, any mark for any reason, yeah, I'm a crazy person. Just the tiniest mark. My sinks are always pristine. That's people are different. People care about different things. All you have to do is look at your friends, right? Your friends spend different amounts of money on different things. You have friends that will spend obscene amounts of money on purses. You have friends that will spend obscene amounts of money, according to you, obscene amounts of money on cars. You have friends that will spend obscene amounts of money, again, according to you, on their hair, right? So we all care about different things. That's what, if you can figure out what your customers care about, you can reduce the scope of work because you can do what they care about and not do what they don't care about.
So what we're talking about here is what I would call high value, low cost deliverables. You want to, especially for a recurring client, somebody that you're cleaning like every week, every other week, you really want to dial that in and adjust the scope of work in a way that you're creating the most value for them in their mind with the least amount of cost on your side. And that doesn't happen day one. That's a relationship that you build over time. Adjusting the scope of work is part of it. And the other part, which kind of goes along with that, is the different service sets. And that's kind of a fancy way of saying, I might be cleaning your home every week or every other week, but I'm doing different stuff every time I'm there. And in the customer's mind, you're doing all of this stuff, and you are, but you're not doing it every cleaning. So you're able to get a premium in their mind because you're doing all of this stuff, but your cost really isn't as much as maybe they would perceive it to be because you aren't doing it every time that you're there.
So you're keeping the whole house clean, but you're not doing everything every single time. You're, again, with the rotational cleaning, rotating different things that you're doing.
Yeah. This is kind of like just getting the maximum amount of revenue per labor hour in the middle of the whirlwind when you're worried about people not coming to work tomorrow, and I got holes in my schedule, and I could get the payroll done by such and such a time, and this whole stuff just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But this is where your profit is.
I did want to point out just real quick, Tom, where Leslie's talking about baseboards, doors, cabinets are time consumers that they can opt out of. I love that. I love that she lets them opt out of that stuff so that they feel like, oh, that's awesome. I have control and I can get a deal. I don't care about that stuff anyway. They still know it's there. Also, the reason why I like that she lets them opt out is because they still know it's there. And when those things start to get dirty, she can get more money for it down the road. So I love that. So a lot of times how we present something can make a really, really big difference. Letting people opt out is awesome.
That is genius. That is genius. And when you're opting out of things, to some degree, they're going to expect to get a reduction in cost.
Yeah.
But, say you're charging $50 an hour, but you're for your, pricing purposes. And if you're doing fixed rate pricing, you can give them a reduction in cost, but you don't have to give them $50 an hour on the reduction side. You give them $20 an hour on the reduction side, and they still think they're getting a deal.
They are getting a deal.
Yeah.
They are getting a deal. That's why it's genius.
But you're making more money per hour that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's awesome. Awesome.
Add-on services. This is kind of an afterthought too. A lot of times gets lost in the shuffle. I know that you guys do a fair amount of this. I know that Mindy's pretty good at getting people to add refrigerator cleanings, oven cleanings. I mean, you gotta. I've seen your list. It goes on forever.
Goes on forever. Yep, we got a long list. But it's hard to come up with add-on services. You got to really create a list, and you got to be listening and looking for how to get those added on, or even better, create them as part of your basic system. I think we have like a job form that goes out with, like, if they want anything extra done, there's a job form that goes out every time they get a reminder. And like when they get a reminder email, and they can just choose the thing and it tells how much money it is. I think that works really well. So a way to be able to get them. It's good to be able to get them as often as possible too. When you're in the house, you're already there. There's no additional drive time, right? Your efficiency goes up the longer you can stay in that house, actually working and producing revenue, not just staying in there for the same amount of time. Job reminders, time of sale, newsletter, that monthly deal.
Every month have a different add-on that you're promoting, get your teams involved, get to a rev share with them.
On your ads, you can do a different ad, right? Each month you can do an ad. We used to do this. We don't do it anymore, but we used to have a different special on every month we would change our answering machine message. Mm-hmm. We would have a different special on there. We don't get as many calls anymore as we used to, but on your website. Yep, website is good.
Just basically, we got deals. Always looking for deals.
Mm-hmm. Always. And really, here is a next level way of getting people to take deals, is telling them that this deal is just for your recurring clients, that you don't ever give this deal to new clients, because there are a lot of clients that you have that get frustrated that all of the deals go to the new clients. Sign up for service today and get 20% off. Get one free cleaning if you have 5. Well, all the different deals that you see out there, and your customers see all of those deals out there. They love it when they're getting a deal. They're your most loyal people. And they're like, why am I not getting a deal? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that when I quiz people.
It could be for all kinds of different profiles of clients. We're doing a special this month. We always do a special for clients who just had their 3-month anniversary with the service, and normally we charge $70 to do an oven clean, but for your 3-month anniversary special, we'll do it for $50.
Absolutely. Why not? Absolutely. It makes people feel like they're getting a special too, that they're important to your company, that you value them as a customer, that they didn't just, once they sign up for your service, you're like, okay, good, check, done. Never going to think about those people again. They like to feel like they're still special.
Do you get your clients' birthdays?
We don't get our clients' birthdays. We used to, but we don't anymore. It was too, we struggled with it. We weren't good at it. I know other companies do it. We were not good at it, so we don't.
Certain industries like insurance and stuff like that, where they have to have that information anyway, all kinds of promotions and stuff on your birthdays. We don't do it either, but I've often thought it would be so awesome. Do you have the names of everybody that lives in the home?
We do. We have the names of everybody in the home. We have the names of the pets. We have a lot of the kids' birthdays, because a lot of times the kids are born while we're cleaning there, right? So we know when they're born. So we do give out like a coloring book or something to the kids on their birthdays. Kids' birthdays is kind of easy to get. And pet treats. Pet treats is really good too, or pet toys, right? Catnip or whatever for the cats, because that's you can buy those on Amazon for nothing, like 4 cents each for little cat toys and little dog toys. And hey, with a little ball, right? Just wanted to leave this for Rolo. Tell him I was thinking about him.
We're at the top of the hour.
Thanks, Tom.
One last thing on these add-ons. Never charge don't charge your hourly rate for these add-ons, you can always get a premium for these. You don't even, you want to know how long it takes for workloading purposes, for scheduling purposes, but you can charge more on an hourly basis for these add-ons than you can for your normal service.
Absolutely. And there's no reason not to. All right, y'all. That was a fast hour.
You guys were awesome. And I really want to thank you for hanging with us through direct payroll, loaded direct payroll to revenue. This was a journey. I got to go back. We've spent a few weeks on this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
what are we working on next week? What are we starting on?
We will find out Monday.
Okay, all right.
We're going to tell. It's going to be one of these. It might be any one of these green numbers. It might be another one of these red numbers.
So y'all realize that was one KPI.
Yeah.
One.
Most of these, I don't know if any of these KPIs is going to be as involved as loaded direct payroll to revenue. I mean, some will be more than a day for sure, but
a lot of them are combined rate increases, right? We're gonna see a lot of combination here, but the LDPR, that's a biggie.
Okay, guys, thanks. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. Don't hurt yourself shoveling snow. We'll be back here Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.